Well, happy day, David Lee Scales. Happy day, dear listener. It is March 9th, 2026. This is Noble Rot number 79. How you doing, David Lee Scales?
I am doing well, hanging in there. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's a weird rain event here in Southern California. You know those days when you don't check the weather at all, and it was like so far out of my consciousness that it might be raining this morning. And lo and behold, driving down, drops start falling, and I'm like, what is this?
Were you dressed appropriately?
Vaguely appropriately. I retreated to the car to record today's podcast, but the kids got to be outside in the rain, which I guess there's worse things than being outside in the rain.
Welcome
Are
back.
you?
Last I heard you say,
Rain.
last
Yeah,
I heard you say was you retreated to the car.
retreated. I retreated out of the car now. I'm just going to take a deluge on the head. This March showers bring April flowers. How was your weekend?
Good weekend. Nothing significant to report, but it was good.
Any naps?
Actually, no. I need to get back on that. I forgot that we were supposed to be doing a nap study, but
Yeah,
no naps, unfortunately, and so nothing to report.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get into some headlines here. David Lee Scales. Again, it is March 9th, and I got one for you out of the gate. This was a headline for last week, but we were so into conspiracy that we had to skip over the headlines. Oh, before we get into the headlines, the theme of today's show. The theme of today's show, David Lee Scales, and listener, the death and dismemberment of Timothée Chalamet. The death and
Wow.
dismemberment of Timothée Chalamet. But before we get there, we're going to swing by Tom Hanks's residence. It was revealed last week what Tom Hanks's favorite cocktail is. Do you have any guesses? Picture Tom Hanks, picture cocktails. Can you, what's the Venn? Where are you at?
I'm going to guess Manhattan.
You'd think. Old fashioned, possibly.
Yeah.
Martini up. Could be a lot of things. Tom
Yeah.
Hanks's cocktail of choice is champagne mixed with Diet Coke.
What?
That's what Tom Hanks drinks exclusively, is champagne and Diet Coke. Do you have thoughts?
I'm gonna file this one away as a don't knock it till you try it kind of a thing because we've talked about the Spanish, I don't know what they call it, but mixing red wine and Coke, and it
Yep.
seems completely crazy and offensive. But I tried it. It's kind of good. It kind of would suit a certain time of day, afternoon. You want a
It's
little refreshment. You want a little
yeah,
bit of bubbles and effervescence.
it's one of those
So
one of
this
those
could
things
fall into
that's
that category.
yeah, it's one of those things that you wouldn't do it every day, but when you have it, the thought of it is so disgusting. And then you try it and you're like, well, that's not offensive. That's fine. So like, I don't know the space for it. But yeah, so apparently Tom Hanks says that champagne and Diet Coke taste like, or I think whichever publication wrote about it, tried it and said it tastes like kind of fizzy grape juice. Where I was like,
Hmm.
I guess that's okay, but why not get fizzy grape juice then?
Yeah, I last week I was poo-pooing the prosecco that was being poured at the baby shower,
Yes.
and then I realized after I got off air, prosecco does have a place, and it's in a Aperol spritz.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, like I would rather use prosecco in an Aperol spritz than a good quality champagne in an
sure.
Aperol spritz. And so I'm wondering with Tom Hanks, is he using fancy champagne or is he going cheap?
You got to think it's Tom Hanks, right? And I don't know what
Yeah.
kind of drinker Tom Hanks is, but I would hope that he's like a Johnny Depp style, right? Where you're randomly swigging from $1,000 bottles of red, like where you're not fussy about it. You have the
I,
money. Why not, right? Why not mix
he
with grand?
he can Yeah, he can certainly afford to do it. It's just a matter of
Why you
once you
would?
put in the Diet Coke. Yeah, once you put in the Diet Coke, it eliminates any of the nuance that you were spending the extra money on anyways. So maybe just go with the Prosecco. I don't
Do
know. I'm
you?
going to try it out. I'll get back to you.
Okay, great. Are you going to try it with Prosecco?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, report back next week on if Tom Hanks is a crazy fool or if Tom Hanks is on some. Tom Hanks regularly, you wouldn't think, right? With Tom Hanks, you would think that he is such a stable part of my whole life, I suppose, like from watching Big as a kid to then the thousands of Hanks films. And he really seems like, a good guy and married to Rita Wilson forever and all this kind of stuff. But then every once in a while, which I got to appreciate this from Tom Hanks, you get the curve, like the champagne Diet Coke, and also like his son Chet, who is regularly in the news doing dumb shit stuff. And I'm like, how did it seems like you have a loving, stable home. How did Rita Wilson and Tom Hanks parent Chet Wilson or Chet Hanks?
You know, it's what's even more confusing is that they also parented Colin Hanks.
Yeah.
So you have two kids that ended up entirely different. Like Colin Hanks, for all the reasons that you stated, Tom Hanks is like lovable, reliable, married for a long time. Colin falls right in line. He's like a doppelganger of his dad, 2.0. And Chet is so far afield, it is bizarre when that happens. I have no explanation for what could have gone wrong, but it is bizarre when it happens.
So I just read the latest Chet Hanks headline that I read a couple days ago is apparently he's stuck in Colombia. Have you seen this one?
No.
Chet Hanks is get help, get me out of here. He's stuck in Colombia because apparently he went to visit a friend in Colombia, lost his passport or somehow the passport went missing. He's wherever he is. He has to go to Medellin to get his new passport. He's not there. So he's like, help, I'm stuck. And I'm like, man, Chet Hanks, that's the kind of stuff that happens to you, bro.
Get it together. The other Tom Hanks quirk is his obsession with typewriters.
Oh yeah. Collects
Did
typewriters.
you know of this? Yeah,
Yes.
I think there's even a documentary made, and he's kind of the central figure. It's a documentary about typewriters, but he's kind of the central figure that they keep coming back and interviewing. So yeah, he's a quirky dude.
Quirky dude. But I suppose with quirky old Chet, it's not like one of those, Anthony Hopkins and his estranged daughter or, whichever celebrity and their estranged child. Like you see pictures of Chet and Tom hanging out. So he's like, yep, this is my goofy boy Chet. Like he's not distancing himself. He's not like, yeah, hot white boy summer or whatever Chet's song was last summer. Do you remember that?
Yes, barely. Now I didn't until you mentioned it. Um, so I think that actually Tom and Rita did him dirty by naming him Chet.
That's true. That is totally true. Yep. There's only
Now
one
that I
way you
think
can
about
kind of
it,
go with Chet.
he was not going to become, a politician with the name
Yeah.
Chet.
I mean, I wonder if they realized fairly if Chet exhibited Chet-like behaviors as a young boy, and that's why when Colin came around, it was like, whew, Colin. This is a stand-up name. This is a fine, decent name.
It's understandable how this happens. There's only one other Chet in all human history, and that's Chet Baker.
Yep.
And I bet Tom Hanks in that when she was pregnant, when Rita was pregnant, he probably had like some fascination with jazz, and he got on a Chet Baker like vein. And he's like, you know what? You don't hear the name Chet ever anymore. We should bring back Chet. Chet would be perfect. And they went with it to create the second ever Chet, but it went sideways. Actually, both Chet Bakers went sideways.
I really truly love that probably wherever Chet Baker's, I mean, the etymology of Chet, the history of Chet would be great because you get Chet Baker coming along, right? And
Yeah.
he's obviously an iconic jazz singer, trumpet player, whole nine. But his life was really a mess. And so you got everybody probably in the jazz world saying, and greater jazz world aware saying, okay, no more Chets until Chet Hanks comes along. And just think how there's a whole generation, new generation of Chets wiped out thanks to Chet Hanks. Cause everybody's like, nope, not naming my kid Chet.
100%. It's the exact opposite of, what Adele did for naming of girls, or
Yep.
Taylor has probably done, where they spawn tens of thousands of those. No, you get a Chet in the mix and he throws things sideways. Nobody ever wants to name their kid Chet again.
Really funny. Uh, well, in other headlines here, Anthropic, the AI company, just released. It's top 10 jobs that are most exposed to AI. These are the ones that are going away. Sorry, David Lee Scales, to tell you. Uh, Number one on the list going away, computer programmers. 75% of them are gone, I think, or it has a 75% chance of becoming totally canceled by AI, which, so starting with computer programmers, it's so crazy. I remember not, I don't know, 8 years ago, probably 10 years ago, max, uh, 8 years ago, like send your kid to school, it doesn't matter what they want to do, have them code, have them learn computer science, computer programming. When young daughter was extra young, like 3 or 4, godmother brought her a like coding for infants book or something, like, hey, teach them now, this is how it goes. Imagine you did it. Imagine that you listened to the parents and or listened to culture and or society and was like, you know, I want to do a lot of things in this life, but I got to be stable and make some money. Computer science, I'm going to be a computer programmer. This is the future is computers. Bam, gone.
You know who I blame on this one is not developing personal interests and passions, because I don't think anybody, very, very few people, like were born to be computer programmers.
Yeah.
It's one of those jobs that seems safe, and because you're not great at playing baseball and you're not going to do that professionally, you know, you weigh your options, you pick a safe lane and you go down it. But I think that left to your own devices or left to an ideal scenario, you would pick something that you love to do and then you would do it for the rest of your life. So unfortunately, these people took a safe path, seemed like a safe path.
Seems smart.
And yeah, they're suffering the consequences of their own actions, unfortunately.
Man, well, we'll go through 2 through 10 real quick, just so, dear listener, if you have any of these jobs, jump off the sinking ship now. Customer service rep is number 2. Data entry keyers, medical record specialists, market research analysts, and marketing specialists coming in number 5. Sales reps, number 6. Ouch for the sales reps. 7. Financial and investment analysis. 8. Software quality assurance analyst. 9. Information security analyst. And 10. Computer user support specialists. Where I feel that the surf journalist and the computer user support specialist is one and the same.
Well, for a lot of those who that I've now forgotten that you just read off, they were doing a poor job anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Customer
Like
service
anytime
reps.
I needed customer service rep, it's kind of like, they would do a marginal job, but they clearly were not invested in the gig, and you could realize that as the customer who needed the support. Medical data, like all that stuff, it's kind of like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. If you had done better, maybe you'd
I
still
mean,
be there.
I wonder how many customer service reps we're already talking to that are chatbots that we don't even know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I
I think
mean, yeah.
my experience in the last 5 years is the vast majority are.
I mean, initially, but it's a computer, kind of like it has a tick, 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 like
Yeah.
fake ticking sounds behind it or whatever. But I wonder how many, like when you get so frustrated and pass me on to a human, if 1 second, and then you actually go to a chatbot that sounds more human than the original one.
I guess that could be. The other thought that I had was about the financial advisor thing. I've had gripes about this. I just don't understand the space well enough, I guess. But the financial advisors who I've known and who may actually be listeners to this show, um, they're living a pretty good life. You know, it's like they're making good income. And so I'm looking at that going, okay, well, you're earning money off of your clients, clearly. And I understand the clients are paying you that money because you're positioning them better than they could position themselves. So even though they're peeling off commissions to you, they're still netting more than they would have if they had done it on their own in theory. But whenever I've had any sort of financial advisement, I cannot find where the fees are located. So I
Yeah.
don't really even understand. I don't even understand how they're getting paid, how much they're getting paid. I know I'm doing okay based on their work, but you're living a good life. So I want more transparency in that transaction. And then my other thought is when you watch movies about, financial advisors or stock traders or Wall Street or whatever, their ambition all along has been to automate in every way possible and design math models that'll help them do their job better. So they were always relying on a version of AI
That's
from the
now
get
just
go.
that's now just available to the public.
Exactly. Now it's way more sophisticated, so much so that they're not able to disguise the very little amount of work they're doing between you and the AI. Now the AI is just available. So for those reasons alone, I'm kind of okay with this industry, being dismantled to a certain degree.
Here's a question I have though about this, right? Okay, so I don't have the list in front of me. I can't remember. They also did the top 10 most safe jobs, right? The jobs that AI can't come after, which is one was bartender. Uh, it's like anytime you have to have a human connection or read the room in real time, basically, AI can't do that. AI can't take a temperature of a room like a bartender can, right? But back to
Well,
the fine.
it'll definitely get confused when Tom Hanks shows up to order something. It'll
uh,
be like, I've never mixed these two beverages before.
it'll straight just short. It'll like maybe that's it. Maybe that's the event finally in our dystopia that the robot breaks is Tom Hanks goes into a bar at the end. Just the world is just as bad as it was in the worst dystopian movie. Robots running everything till Tom Hanks goes into a bar and orders his champagne and Diet Coke. Everything shorts out.
Tom Tom Hanks can be played by Colin Hanks.
Or maybe even Chet Hanks at that point. Maybe Chet has a full redemption story.
I think that he represents the AI somehow. I think he's the villain.
But back to financial advisors. So here's the thing about this, right? Obviously, like AI can read the market, but if I had a financial advisor, same thing when I'm playing blackjack, right? I'm sitting there at the table and you're supposed to play the book. And I'm like, I've talked about this before. Wife gets furious at me when she sits next to me because I don't play the book. I go off gut, like I'm thinking that next, got a feeling that next card's going to be an 8. I lose well more than I win. But I also want that same kind of gunslinging with my financial advisor, right? I want him to say, hey, the models are all going this way, but I got this feeling in my tummy that says buy, not sell.
Yeah. I think you should be playing Polymarket more than you should be playing the stock market.
That's true. I wonder if there's polymarket stock advisors or polymarket advisors.
Yeah, if they use the word gunslinger in their bio, that's the ones you would hire, and no, they'll be able to dedicate a lot of time to you as a client because they don't have a lot of other clients.
Oh, well, moving on back to our theme here, the death and dismemberment of Timothée Chalamet. You certainly saw the news, David Lee Scales, did you this week, of Timothée blasting into public consciousness as a punching bag. Did you see this?
I did, and it is high time. I've been waiting for him to have a punching bag moment.
Okay, so here we go. This is perfect on the theme. So for those who were unawares, and this is crazy, I will say, of all the things going on in the world right now, right? We have a war in Iran that shows no sign of slowing. We have a jobs report release that shows that AI has already taken a big hack out of the workplace. We have any number of important, big, troubling stories with which should be making headlines, but Timothée Chalamet beat them all by coming out and telling Matthew McConaughey that in an interview that ballet and opera are dying art forms, and then continued to twist the knife. He said, I should have the quote right in front of me, but in essence, it was, he is involved in movies and he's glad that he's not involved in keeping something alive like ballet and opera that people don't care about anymore. And then he stops when he's saying it. I watched a body language speech expert go frame by frame. This is how viral this moment went for those who weren't aware of it. Watched a speech behavioral person expert go frame by frame where as he realizes what he's saying, and then the octave of his voice changes because he knows he said something, salacious. He backs off a little bit and says, like, no offense to people in ballet and opera, where he already directly offended them all, and then says something like, I just lost 14 cents in viewership or something, like, which is another big dig at the both ballet and opera communities. and then ended with the damn, I'm taking shots for no reason. But all to say, that thing went mega viral. Ballet and opera companies, artists from Doja Cat to whoever, like everyone weighed in on Timothée Chalamet saying bad things about ballet and opera. He has yet to make a response, but this really made me think about the modern, I suppose, sport of internet pylons. Uh, you came out saying about time. So you felt good that Timothée Chalamet was getting licked.
I definitely did because I've never seen the appeal of Timothée Chalamet in the way that other people do. I think he's a fine actor. I've appreciated some of the movies that he's in, but he's become a sex symbol and people have an obsession with him. So I don't understand the obsession. But the other detail is there's a certain Streisand effect at play here where I don't think Doja Cat cared about opera nor ballet prior to this moment, but you feel a need to defend the underdog. In this case, where you have this poster child, Timothée Chalamet, who's like untouchable, we do as a society want to take those people down, but we also want to we want to defend the underdog. And so ballet doesn't have like an out front spokesperson that I know of. Opera doesn't. So it's all these people who didn't actually care about those things, but also want them to survive that want to come to the defense and now might actually take an active interest in ballet and opera to a certain degree.
I mean, I think this is a big plus for ballet and opera. This whole the fact that ballet and opera were in headlines for multiple news cycles is nothing but a plus for the ballet and opera. Yeah, but back to the pylon though. This was obviously hit right in my wheelhouse. Of course, love me some ballet. I'm very, very invested in ballet. So this was just like a perfect storm for me, right? This was just like, I was getting annoyed with Timothée Chalamet already. Like this, I didn't see. Did you see Marty Supreme?
Not yet because it's not available for free anywhere, but I will as soon as it is.
Yeah, I like somehow the whole movie annoyed me out of the gate. I was already feeling annoyed by Timothée Chalamet a bit, like his, I don't know, the what self promotion, the all of it, the way he was going about his business was, and I know I'm an old man and it does not to appeal to me, but I was just like, it just started looking unseemly. And then he comes out and says something like this, and I get to watch the pylon, and it felt the amount of joy I felt watching this pylon was I had to stop and think, this is like best thing ever. It was like my birthday. Next morning I woke up and then I felt a little bad. I was like, well, I mean, everybody's piling on Timmy Chalamet and I'm just gleefully watching it all. I felt a little bad. Do you ever feel bad about an internet pylon?
No, not about an internet pylon, but I think I've analyzed exactly what you're talking about. And I think that it's so he had grown to a part of being jammed in our faces to where we were ready to resist him in some way. Now, what he said, I actually don't think is that offensive. And I think that had somebody who wasn't in his position of focus at the moment, had somebody else said it, they would not have gotten piled on. Because what he said is he's glad that he doesn't work in a different industry that doesn't have his, whatever he said. He's just glad that he doesn't work in that industry. That's fine on his face. You can be glad that you're in your industry and not in another industry. No problem. He called it a dying art. I think that is objectively true. Those things, ballet and opera, as compared to Hollywood films, are nowhere near as profitable or anything, or popular even. You know what I mean?
I
So
mean, I'll say,
positioning it as a dying art, go ahead.
I mean, but this is where he got that wrong, right? It's a different, I heard somebody get on and very clearly and cleanly go through it. He's like, hey, look, it's not dying. It's like for totally different audiences. It is for a wildly sophisticated audience. It's not trying to be it never has been trying to be for a broad audience, right? Like they'll try to open the aperture a bit to have more people come in and experience it. But he said it is like, going to a 5-star restaurant as opposed to going to McDonald's. It was always a niche art, not a massively popular art. And so to compare it to movies was silly. I mean, he could say he doesn't want to be in those industries. That's fine. I don't like the work, or I don't like the whatever. I don't want to only be speaking to a niche audience. He could have said that, but to call it dying was just straight up wrong.
Well, and I think also something that he, again, I don't have his quote, but I feel like what he said was people are just supporting it to keep it alive, as if there aren't ardent fans of the thing.
Yeah, which is again,
So,
wrong.
so yeah, I think that was he there was a misunderstanding on his part and a misread. But again, of all the offensive things that we hear every day coming from people in power, that was not one of them for me. But I did see it as a thing that we could finally pin something
Agreed.
on to, yeah, agree to finally now bully him because we're so sick of seeing him, basically.
Okay, so then here we go, moving on to or with this internet pylon. Uh, this happened. I think the talk with Matthew McConaughey happened on February 21st, right? So this thing has been out in the field now for at least 2 weeks before it got blowed up, right? So happened 2 weeks ago, didn't make a dent. 2 weeks on, so the conspiracy suggests there's an active campaign underway to undermine Timothée Chalamet's Oscar bid for Best Actor. So, does that make you think differently about this whole thing? Does it make you think, oh wait, there's a concerted effort to poke Timothée Chalamet in the eye, and I'm just laughing along?
No, in fact, I'm so cynical now that could see this being Timothy Chalamet's own people putting this out there to keep his name in the cycle.
And to build sympathy, knowing that if they do it, because we still have a week left till the Oscars, so knowing human psychology, knowing even my feeling, first everybody enjoys the pile-on, then people feel bad for the pile-on. So if the Oscar voter will pile on, say yeah, and then say, wait, everybody's bullying Timothée Chalamet. Timothée Chalamet needs my vote for Best Actor just to pick him up.
Maybe if it's even that thoughtful of being able to predict the ebbs and flows of people's emotions, but I think just getting his name in the cycle is enough. And if and they also, I think the PR team would know that there is always at the right after the height of somebody's kind of profile awareness, there will be some sort of backlash for something. So if you can present the problem and portray it, you're actually in control of the narrative. And this is not nearly as offensive as, like I said, some things that other people are saying. So you're controlling even the negative press that he's getting.
On the heels now of an internet pylon, though, the problem with an internet pylon is people love the pylon so much, and I feel want to keep it going, especially for a figure like Timothée Chalamet, where today, new damning information coming to light about Timothée Chalamet's breakfast habits.
Oh my goodness.
Do you, can
What do
you,
you
do you have,
got?
do you have any idea what is causing consternation about Timothée Chalamet's breakfast?
I have no idea, but I'm going to make a random guess.
Okay.
I think it is that it is so unhealthy and processed and pedestrian, like not sophisticated that, or not worldly at all. It's like Krispy Kreme donuts or something like that. And people are upset that he can maintain his girlish physique despite eating terrible food.
Well, you'll be happy to know it is quite opposite of that. One of his co-actors on Wonka shared that it, quote, ground his gears, end quote, that Timothée Chalamet brought with him a private chef, personal chef, and of course on a film set there's craft services. So it's not like there's not food, there's food, but Timothée Chalamet wanted his personal private chef, and his personal private chef prepared 3 breakfasts every morning for him, and Timothée Chalamet would choose one of them. So that was the
What?
order. So chef prepares. Timothy wants choices, I guess. So he doesn't want them all, but he wants a breakfast from a selection of breakfasts. Do you
Did
have
they
thoughts
say
on
what the
that?
breakfasts were?
No,
Well, I mean,
I
my
think it was different every morning. That was
okay.
the feeling I got. And Timothy Chalamet would choose something, whatever he chose every morning.
Yeah, so my feelings on that are pick first so you're not wasting food. All of my thoughts are this is just so wasteful. This is
Yeah,
the
I think
perfect
that's why he's getting
example.
that's why he's getting dragged.
Yeah.
Just the
Yeah, this is the perfect
abject
example of
waste.
having abject waste, way too much money that you could bring the private chef, and then way too much money to where you can have him make 3 breakfasts and throw 2 away, presumably.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. So again, though, now we have all of ballet, all of opera jumping in. We have all the supporters of ballet and opera, and or as you pointed well out, the those who are going for the underdog, right? Like to kick opera. There was 1,000 angles. I saw so many different angles being taken on this from people. You don't Timothée Chalamet. You do not go after arts. Don't go after the arts, right? It's not like ballet and opera are saying movies suck. Like you're all together. You're all in the arts. You protect each other. You don't badmouth each other. So there's that angle. There's the underdog angle. There's the fact that it's not true, right? That ballet, as evidenced by the outpouring, ballet and opera both have hugely passionate fans who are very invested in them. On and on and on and on. And now we have Timothy's wasteful breakfast. Timothée is a wasteful glutton who does this kind of bad business. And I'm sure there's going to be more coming on. Now, if this is in fact a campaign and an campaign, anti-Oscar campaign, is it coming from Michael B. Jordan's camp? Where is this coming from?
That's a great question. I have no idea who's out to get Timothy. I will say
somebody is.
Yeah, but I will say that the more I learn about him, or the more he's around, the less I like him because of his own doing. Like,
Yes.
his choice of the Jenner girl that he's dating. I'm just like, bad choice there. I mean, in my perspective, bad choice there. And then learning these little details about breakfast or just his inner dialogue about the other arts. Because even though I'm not invested in ballet or opera, I do view them all as the same, category of arts, basically,
Yeah.
general category of arts. And I see that Hollywood film really cannot exist in the way that it exists without those other two mediums having pre-existed. They're
Well, I
all
mean, that's what
lending from and borrowing from one another.
That's exactly. I mean, so many people were out there saying that, right? Like choreography and, what I don't know how much from opera, but definitely from ballet. There's a whole lot of from the ballet world that is fused into film. And I'm sure opera too. I'm sure just staging and all of this.
Well, and just Hollywood in general. Like, so much of those disciplines or arts informed early Hollywood. And so it feels like we're in such a place where it's so disconnected from the origin story that one of the main actors of our time doesn't even realize it, And so that's where you start to view him as just like, oh, these young kids these days start to annoy.
But also, you're exactly right in terms of the more that we've been presented with Timothée Chalamet. And again, I didn't start actively disliking him for a reason. And back when you had distaste for Timothée Chalamet, when he first came into our conversation, which was 2 years ago? Internally,
Yeah, probably.
yeah, internally I was like, oh, I think you're wrong on this one, David Lee. I think Timothée Chalamet has the, capacity, the potential to be our next kind of major movie star, our next Brad Pitt, George Clooney, whatever, right? At this point, I think absolutely not. He seems foolish. All of his his being a rapper thing, did you track all that?
No.
He was like SD Kid or something. He had like an alter ego that would show up at concerts and he was a rapper, something like that. It was it's too much, man. And then you're exactly right. The being part of the Kardashian thing, and apparently though, it's crazy how much I guess this kid wants an Oscar because he's clearly going to be bummed if he doesn't win one. And if ballet and opera take him down, if they kneecap his Oscar, I'm going to be really happy about that. But and or 3 breakfasts. But the I read that he is distancing himself now from Kylie because he knows she's a bad look for the Oscar voter, and so they didn't wish each other happy Valentine's Day. There's all these signs that Timothée Chalamet is pulling back, with the assumption being she's a bad look for the Oscar voter.
Well, look, I hope they're happy. I don't want to poo-poo on anybody else's love story. So hopefully what exists behind closed doors away from the public eye is very different. But let's look at, he's up for Best Actor against Delroy Lindo. So, I mean, ultimately, Timothée Chalamet will have many more nominations, presumably, in the future. So, if he doesn't win now, he can rest assured he'll probably win in the future. But he's got Delroy Lindo from Sinners, Sean Penn from One Battle After Another, Stellan Skarsgård from Sentimental Value, and then Ethan Hawke, presumably for Blue Moon, even though it doesn't say that here. I would. I haven't seen Chalamet's film. I've seen his other work. I've seen these other people's other work. I would hope any one of these other people won over Chalamet just based on their bodies of work.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and yeah, like didn't see Marty Supreme, but I guess Marty Supreme was obviously did great at the box office. But there was something so, and maybe it's just the Chalametification, Chalametification. My growing distaste for Timothée Chalamet. I had no interest in seeing Marty Supreme. I was like, ugh, the promotion of it, all of it was just like too much.
Well, that is, I believe, the character himself is too much. Like he's this, fake it till you make it, fraud. Not, I don't know if he's a fraudster, but just kind of a little bit of a charlatan who's out there trying to make his way in the world, and he's over the top in everything. And so I think the marketing and the branding of the film was a reflection of that. It was intentionally so.
For sure. But I think what frustrated me more maybe going in is that they stole the story from a real person that they didn't credit. They there's a real ping pong player, huckster guy, who existed in that time and did basically Marty Supreme, or was Marty Supreme, and they took his story, changed it enough to fictionalize it, and guy gets no credit.
Are you sure about that? Because I thought
Yeah.
his name was Marty Supreme.
No, it's the real, you can search up real life Marty Supreme, and that guy's pissed.
Okay, got it. Marty Reisman,
Yeah. His name
known
is
as
even
the
Marty.
Needle.
Yeah. And so they stole his entire life, and he has zero credit.
I did not realize that. I thought it was all on the up and up.
Nope. It was, they took the story and made it their own.
Yeah, that is definitely problematic. I feel like he would have some sort of legal recourse then.
No, I mean, I think they changed it, like whatever you have to change it, 20% or 10%, or, to make it a fiction. Like there's enough, but it's clearly, there's a guy named Marty who is a shiesty ping pong player.
Yeah, exactly. I'm reading the whole story right now.
Yeah.
Josh Safdie told the Hollywood Reporter that it's an homage to a table tennis pro rather than a biography.
Exactly. And so that's how they cut him out. Homage.
Bummer.
Yeah. But anyway, all that background. So I was already disliking it, and then now this, and I'm just back to the pylon. Feeling so good about this pylon, and then felt bad about it. When was the last internet pylon you felt good about? And do you ever feel bad? We've already kind of touched on it, but if there's an internet pylon happening, do you think, even if the person deserves it, that's a lot to have the entire weight of the internet coming down on top of you? You can say, I don't pay attention, I don't read it, all you want, but you feel it. There's enough pressure where he's probably physically feeling this.
It's a good question. I don't remember the last one that I got wrapped up in, but I don't think I've ever come around to the next morning that you're talking about where I felt bad about it. There's something in me, maybe this is actually not fair and not sympathetic, but there's something in me that just feels that person has so many good things in their life. I know that fame and money comes with challenges, but it also comes with so much benefit and opportunity and resource. And you also entered into it willingly and knowing the risks that come with it. And so if you haven't built certain buffers to mitigate against, internet bullies, then get out of the game. I just think you're doing it wrong if your feelings are that hurt about it.
Do you think that when the internet pylon happens, do you think that Timothée Chalamet woke up the next day and thought, oh man, that really was a dumb thing to say. The internet is right. I said a dumb thing about ballet and opera, and that was my bad. Or do you think he wakes up and says, well, this is just like what the internet troll, everybody sucks, this is horrible, this is our modern culture, that blah blah blah. Do you think what percentage of responsibility is Timothée Chalamet taking for his foot in mouth?
I would guess most people don't take much responsibility and they just do point the finger of blame. But I would hope that adjacent to that, there is a light bulb that goes off that maybe he should pay more attention to ballet and opera.
And or
Of like, if all these people care about it, maybe there is something of interest here. Maybe I should give it a shot.
It's weird. Yeah. I mean, as many pointed out, his mom went to school of American ballet when she was young, and his sister, I think, regularly either went to school of American ballet too, but is always attending ballet practices for New York City Ballet. So it's not like he didn't know, which, or isn't well versed in at least ballet. Yeah, but yeah, maybe he just doesn't care. He's such a he just seems like such a cocky little jerk now.
I think he's gotten more cocky definitely in the last 5 years because of all the adulation. But I can say that I say dumb stuff on air pretty regularly, or like I'll pick an example. I have a thought that I want to make or thought that I want to share, and then I'll pick an example to illustrate the point, and then later realize it was the wrong example that I picked. And so he could have done the same thing in that moment, and accidentally pointed the finger at ballet and opera. And then, so what I would, to answer your previous question of does he feel bad about what he say or did he learn a lesson? Often for me, in those moments when I realize I picked the wrong thing, I would never take the insult. If somebody on the internet tells me I'm an idiot for the example that I picked, that insult doesn't hurt me at all because I know I picked the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I'm almost like removing myself from it. I made a mistake. I knew I made the mistake. They're hinging their insult on this mistake that I made, which isn't even really me because I didn't mean it that way. So there was a misunderstanding, and I don't need to get to the bottom and explain to the person the misunderstanding. I could just walk away knowing I'm a little bit removed from it.
Yeah, and or I mean, I feel we all should be, or hopefully are on the journey of self-betterment in terms of, oh man, I made a mistake that time. Note to self, like try not to make that mistake again.
Yeah, exactly. Now I have a question tangential to all of this. He travels with his private chef. If you had lottery winning money tomorrow, $400 million, you can kind of have whatever you want with that amount of money. How far down the list is the private chef? Would that be a purchase on day one? Or would it be after a yacht, after a private jet, after a million other things?
I thinking about it, weirdly, it'd be in like top three.
Me too.
Like, if not maybe the first. I would rather have a private chef than a private plane. I would rather have a private chef than a yacht. I would rather have to not have to think about making dinner anymore ever again
Yeah.
would be like, oh,
It's up there for me too. And I love to cook, but even still, it's like if you're coming home from the beach in the morning and you're like, oh, I really want a breakfast burrito, but god dang, it's going to take me 15 minutes. I'm starving right now. You like all of those details, you just send a text. Hey, buddy, get that burrito ready for me.
if you had a private chef, how much would you make the menu versus how much would you just say, I am never, not only am I not going to think about shopping or cooking myself, I'm not even going to think about what I want anymore. I'm not even going to think about my own taste. I'm going to be surprised every single meal and eat what's put in front of me gladly, because not only did I not have to do it, not only did I not have to buy the stuff for it, I didn't even have to think about what I wanted.
I'm going to go 50-50 on this one. I think I do have an opinion about what I want to eat a lot of the time. And then some of the times, especially if you love the chef and you presumably hired that chef for a reason, you trust their instinct and their talent. So I would be okay with the other 50% of the time being like, dazzle me.
Yeah. I think I would do 90% no say, maybe even 100%, not to even think, not just to be purely, whatever journey, imagine the arc that a chef could do if he had complete free range, right? Like he could say, okay, We're going to slowly work from Argentina up to Brazil, through Central America, into Mexico. Then we're going to jump across the Atlantic over to Spain, where we will work our way. And this is like planning out, mapping out like a 10-year culinary journey that he's going to slowly take you on.
If they're that thoughtful, then absolutely I'm along for the artistic ride of that. But there's
Sometimes
also
you want a
other
breakfast
nights of the
burrito.
week. Yeah, sometimes it feels like a pizza night. Feels like burgers tonight, you know?
Uh, where do you rank, real quick, breakfast burrito on the breakfast a la carte items that you can have, that a person can eat?
It's there's been times in my life where it was number one with a bullet, and now it's kind of a once every other month thing.
It's a lot of food in a breakfast burrito. Somehow, if breakfast burritos were half the size that they are, even a third of the size that they are, they'd be. I'd go for the breakfast burrito a lot more.
It's funny, there was a time where they got bigger and bigger and bigger, and now I've noticed them trending down.
I mean, I think it's just cost of food is so dang much that good. It's a good thing for the breakfast burrito industry to bring them back down. They don't need to be that big. You don't need that much
They really
breakfast.
don't.
Where does
No,
biscuits and
definitely.
gravy rank?
It is a sideshow. It's something I love and will always have a bite of if I see it, but I mean, I'm doing that once a year.
Man, I would do biscuits and gravy every day if I could. That is breakfast number. I never once do it at home. I don't even know how to do it, but
That'll
maybe I can
that'll
figure
be
that
your
one out.
criteria when you hire your chef. It'll be like just a biscuits and gravy off between all the chefs that come over to.
That would be it. I would totally pick from that. Okay, so the Oscars again. Back to the pile-on of Death and Dismemberment of Timothée Chalamet. Oscars are this Sunday. Will you be watching?
I guess so. Yeah, I didn't realize it was this Sunday, but I suppose we'll have it on in the background.
Uh, have you watched most of the movies up for major categories this year?
I have, yeah, I've made an effort to, and incidentally, one of them I've been wanting to see for a very long time, and it just got added to free streaming on Peacock, and so it is my best thing I've seen this week.
What is it? Let's get right into it.
Hamnet.
Oh, I've been reading about Hamnet. I've been seeing the name Hamnet, and the name itself annoys me to the point where it just turns me off. I don't know why they named it Hamnet.
Hamnet, it'll tell you on the opening screen, is the same name as Hamlet.
In what? For
Um,
people who can't say or have no differentiation between M and L?
yeah, I mean, in Old England, I guess, it's basically Jack and John. Why are they the same? You know,
Oh,
Bill and
good
Will.
point. Good
Bill
point.
and Will. Bill and Will is one letter difference, so that would be the better equivalency. Um, but it's actually the story of William Shakespeare and his wife, whose name is Anne Hathaway. They lost a son when he was I want to say like 6 or 7 years old, and it's what in the experience of going through that loss is what inspired him to write Hamlet, and the son's name was Hamnet. And so it's the story of it's their love story, it's the kid's life, and then losing the child, and then the through the devastation of that, the inspiration that comes and makes one of the greatest, you know, stories and plays of all time. And then you get to see the play by the end of the film too.
So are you going for pulling for Hamnet for Best Picture?
I'm definitely pulling for Jessie Buckley as Best Actress because I've thought she was amazing for a long time in everything that I've seen her in. This is by far her best performance, and it is unbelievably powerful. She steals the show entirely, and I cannot imagine anybody else even playing the role.
What's the wife's name again in real life?
Anne Hathaway,
So why don't they get? What if Anne Hathaway played the wife?
she
Wouldn't that
could
have
not
just been? Wouldn't that have just been better?
she could not pull this off. But I've got a crazy since we were coming off of internet conspiracies last week. Have you seen Anne Hathaway's real life husband?
Maybe I can't off the top of my head. Can't picture though.
He freaking looks like William Shakespeare.
Oh wow! I gotta look
So
this.
yeah, you got to look this up. So there is, I don't even know what you would call this subgenre of conspiracy theory, but this idea of people coming back, being born again, and living, multiple lives.
I
And
feel there's something more conspiratorial about it. That's like that we are some cloney type thing, right? Replacements or something like that.
that is part of it for sure. If you go down far enough down the conspiracy theory, but whatever the reason is, I don't know. There's different looks that come up, and these internet conspiracy theorists will show you like pictures of some former president and some current actor, basically, and like look at the similarities in their faces. They're a reincarnation or a clone or something.
I mean, did
But
you go down far enough in the Jack Johnson, Jeffrey Epstein that we highlighted on this week's episode of The Grit, where they go, it's all the same thing, right? They go and look at Jack Johnson's wife, who then looks like or has similar features to Ghislaine Maxwell. Like, so they do that exact same thing there.
it was actually that goes further back to Andrew Jackson with them.
Yes. Yeah.
So Andrew Jackson looks like Epstein, looks like Jack Johnson, and his wife looks like Ghislaine Maxwell. Well, so yeah, Anne Hathaway looks kind of like William Shakespeare's wife does, and obviously has the exact same name. And then her modern Anne Hathaway's husband looks exactly like William Shakespeare. So read into it what you want, but it's just an
But
interesting side note.
but Jesse Buckley for the win. You're saying?
Dude, I mean, so she's going up against Renate Rienzev from Sentimental Value. Sentimental Value is the one film that I have not seen yet, but I plan to. Emma Stone, Begonia, Kate Hudson from that, I forget what that film was called, and then Rose Byrne from If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. All great options.
What's
Rose
her
Byrne, I thought, go ahead.
the whatever one battle after another actress didn't get the nom for the Oscar?
She is supporting actress,
Okay.
Triana Taylor.
Yes.
So yeah, Emma Stone, Begonia, very good as she always is. I think Rose Byrne would be in the second position for this category, but Jessie Buckley to me, it's just undeniable. You watch it and you're just like, give her the award.
So what you going for? Who you going for male actor?
So I'm a little more mixed on that one. Sean Penn potentially. Ethan Hawke is undeniable as well. And like I said, I haven't seen Stellan Skarsgård, but he's always great.
They're saying with the ballet opera Chalamet kerfuffle that Michael B. Jordan might be in pole position now.
I think it looks to me like it's Delroy Lindo.
Is Michael B. is not up for it? I think he is.
Well, I could just be reading the wrong. I'm looking at Google and it might have gotten it wrong.
Is it AI? It's for sure wrong. I think Michael B. is up there for his portrayal of the twins or whatever they are, brothers in Sinners.
Actor in a lead role. You're right. You are right. Oh, Wagner Mora. Okay, I was definitely reading. AI had it wrong, dude.
Imagine that.
AI had it wrong. It looks like it wasn't even the. It was a mix between supporting role and main role somehow. Anyways, yeah. So it's Leonardo DiCaprio, Ethan Hawke, Michael B. Jordan, Wagner Mora, and Timothée Chalamet. Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, this could be Leonardo's chance.
I mean,
He's
yeah.
never won-
Has he never won one?
I don't think he's won one.
Really?
Dude, I could be wrong.
I don't know. I don't think he's in the conversation, to be quite frank. I think the conversation that I've heard, or seems like it was Timothy's to lose, and then he went out and lost it,
Okay,
or
gotcha.
is
Yeah.
actively losing it.
All right, Leonardo did win for The Revenant, so I was mistaken
Yeah,
on
yeah,
that
yeah.
too.
Yes.
Anyways, I like Ethan Hawke personally, but I don't know. I don't think that was his best performance in Blue Moon.
Yeah.
Anyways, go watch Hamnet. Hamnet was unbelievable. Look, I've told you in the past my feelings on theater, live theater. And I'm
You
not
said
a
it.
huge.
You could have got Timothée Chalamet with that one had we been more popular.
I know I'm not a huge fan in general, but this made me fully understand it in a way that I never understood it before.
Wow. I mean, this is a big red letter day. This is big news. This is like a sea change in your entire life.
Totally agree. It was, and by the way, Shakespeare, I also never had an appreciation for just because I understand that it's great and like I have reverence for what it is and what it means. I just personally never connected with it. This made me connect with it in a way I've never felt before as well.
Well, wow. Are you going to now further your journey into the theater? Are you going to go see a play? Are you going to read and or watch more Shakespeare?
I think I will definitely be more open to it. I won't go out of my way for it, but if an opportunity presents itself, I won't be so closed off to it.
And will you appreciate it more, do you think, because of your Hamnet experience?
I think so, absolutely. And this is,
What specifically in the film like made you appreciate theater?
well, it was the main form of entertainment for the community back in the day. And so there was also the way the film is made, it really showcases the hardship of that time and place. It was cold, there was no indoor heating, there's no indoor plumbing, all just living was tough. And so Shakespeare as a character, as a person, was not doing hard labor. He was going and pursuing the arts, and he looked like a dandy to all of his hardworking brothers and family members, and even his own father. You know, like, why are you wasting your time with this thing? But through his dogged pursuit of the craft, was able to then present the community with this art form that allows them all to elevate their lifestyle out of the dirty, muddy muck that they had to work in and mire in every single day. And so that's where you're like, oh, that's where the arts have value.
I love it. Well, man,
Yeah.
way to tie a nice bow around this thing. But back to, I suppose, you and the theater versus Timothy Chalamet. You never said theater was a dying art. You just said you didn't like it. If Timothy Chalamet would have said, "I don't like watching. I'm glad I'm not in something like ballet or opera that I don't like," then I think nobody would have came for him for that. It's the slagging them off is what he got in trouble for, which you never slagged off theater. You just said it's not your thing. But now it
No,
is.
and he also, by the way, is presuming that he could do opera or ballet. It's like,
Well,
dude,
that's
you weren't a dancer or a singer, so you were never invited to the table.
That's what Megan Fairchild, principal at the New York City Ballet, took to Instagram and said, "Timmy, I never knew that you were wildly like the most talented at both ballet and opera and chose to do movies because they're more popular. Wow, look at that." Which was very, very funny.
Well, it diminishes them to think, oh, I could just come play in your space and go ahead and win awards there too if I really wanted to.
Totally. Last note on Timmy Chalamet before we get into heroes and zeros of the week. Great friend reached out. I was going back and forth over it with him. And his response at the end was, "Silly Timmy, everyone knows you don't mess with the core." As it relates to surfing, which I thought this is really true. Timmy, it would be like a wave stormer or somebody good, a wave pool like Flyboy, who is really good at wave pools, going and say like just crap talking like ocean paddleboarding or boogie boarders at Ship Stearns Bluff or whatever, any of those like super core surf world things that people do only for the love, not for attention. Yeah, don't do it. You don't mess with the core.
I feel like it would be Jamie O'Brien, who's riding a soft top now, saying surfboard shapers. I'm glad I don't ride foam and fiberglass anymore because
It's
it's
dying.
irrelevant.
Yeah,
It's a dying art. They don't make a lot of. There's no way to make a living off of it. It's a dying art. I would just ride foamies from now on because nobody pays attention to that.
exactly. It's exactly 100% that. Went after the core, Timmy Chalamet. Sorry about it. Hope you burn on Oscar night. I hope the camera is right on your face when they announce Delroy. And I just want to see that frown. I mean, that smile turn upside down.
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan is the.
Delroy's,
Oh, he's
Delroy's in the
supporting.
supporting.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought. Michael B. Well, do you have a hero and zero this week, or did you port them in from last week?
I do. And in fact, my zero, I have a couple of different zeros, but because you brought up Timothy Chalamet, I'm going to go with this particular zero. Kelly Osbourne. Have you seen Kelly Osbourne recently?
Yeah,
Did you see Shia LaBeouf's interview with Channel 5?
I did.
Did you watch the whole thing or just the snippets?
Just the snippets.
Okay. So I don't know, maybe we're the zero in this category. It's hard for me to define, but I think we're watching celebrities' health and wellness dwindle right in front of our eyes, and it has become public fodder.
Britney
Um,
Spears too.
Britney Spears too is a great example. I forgot about that. She was just arrested on DUI this past weekend. But the Kelly Osbourne thing, I mean, she looks like she's a day away from dying. And we're all poking fun. I mean, I'm not poking fun, but the internet is definitely having a conversation about it. In the Shia LaBeouf thing, he had gotten arrested over Mardi Gras weekend in New Orleans, where he now lives. And as soon as he got bailed out of jail, he went straight back. Oh, it was because he was drunk and disorderly. He had gotten into
Yeah.
some fights. They arrested him drunk and disorderly, spent a night in the 24 hours in jail, got out the next day, went straight back to the bar. And this is him on a bender after having a couple of years of sobriety, but he's gone through a divorce, he's relocated, and he's obviously on another bender. And it's like we're watching this, and then he does like a 90-minute interview with a YouTuber and addresses all of it, and he is fully in it. Like
Yeah.
he is erratic. So I don't know if it's like we need to stop giving these people work. We need to stop giving them attention. We need to look away from the train wreck because she's a day away from dying. He's another day away from another criminal offense, and we're just not applauding, but our views are not helping.
I mean, so yeah, like I will say both for specifically for Kelly Osbourne, for Shia, for Britney Spears. Yes, they are famous, but they are not looking for attention. It's not like they're Kardashians, right? If this was Kardashians melting down, I would say, yeah, yes, but you have made your whole entire business on forcing people to look at you 24 hours a day, right? Britney Spears is a singer. Shia LaBeouf is an actor. Kelly Osbourne is, a host and, personality, whatever. But none of them are look at me all the time, every day. People, they're, trying to do their job. So I'm going to put 0 here on, yeah, us, I guess, because if there was no appetite for it, it's like blaming Mexico for the drug cartels, even though who's the consumer of the drugs? It's almost all here, right?
Yeah.
Same. If there was why can't we? And I actually know Kelly Osbourne, had a wonderful meal with her. She's a lovely person. Great, right? And she addressed directly. It's not like she's getting that skinny because she is dieting and thinks she's good and flaunting it, right? She addresses the comments or address the situation directly saying, look this is the worst time of my life. My dad just died. She's clearly going through it, just like Shia LaBeouf is clearly going through a bender. Like where if your buddy was going through a bender or was in a bender, your sober buddy had got back on it, would you sit back in the couch and laugh and say, oh, serves him right. He's getting what he's getting. What a dummy. Like you would try to intervene as you could and or just be like, can't watch that, man, because it's hurting the stomach, right? But because
you can't watch,
yeah, because Shia LaBeouf is a celebrity, we as the public feel, nope, we have a right to watch him break down. Kelly Osbourne, because she's a celebrity, we have the right to mock her when she's very clearly not well. She's not doing this as a diet. She doesn't think she looks well either. She's going through it.
I agree, and that's why I started by saying we're the ones watching their wellness dwindle in front of our eyes. Like it is a wellness issue, And I think it's also a reflection of the ravages of mental health on young fame.
Yeah, totally.
Because all 3 of those examples, Britney Spears included, they all got the young fame. Like they had it early in their lives, and I don't know what guardrails you can put on to protect against the ravages of it. But it definitely takes its toll on your mental health, and we're seeing the effects.
I am sure happy, back to topic at hand, kid does ballet, because you could be the most famous ballerina in the world and be totally fine, right? You get your cake and eat it too at that point. You get to be beloved in your community and walk down any street, basically anywhere, and be totally fine.
Good. Glad to hear it. And it's a healthy outlet as opposed to some of these others.
My 0 for the week is, I'm just going to make it a 0 every week. Everything related to Epstein. U.S. Justice Department, all of it under multiple administrations. I just continually can't believe. And then, and I'm not saying obviously, well, who knows, but Trump starting the war in Iran and then scooting in the 13-year-old girl allegations, right? Which seem like, I don't know why you are obviously the spokesperson for the White House, Catherine Levitt or whatever her name is, comes out and bashes the victim straight away. How do you know, right? Like she says, this is unreliable. It seems pretty dang, reliable to me, whatever the testimony is. And I can't believe that we're not talking about it or that nothing's being done about this.
Yeah. And by the way, immediately after the war in Iran was started, 65,000 of the previously released DOJ documents were removed from their website of the Epstein files. So you want to factor that into as well to the calculus of why things are happening the way that they're happening. But I agree with you. The 13-year-old allegation against Trump, I had seen that before. But it might have been leaked, and now they've released it, and so now we're seeing the actual document. I don't know who in the world can see the level of accusations, including the 27 women who have accused him previously and brought lawsuits, including the ones who he has paid off to silence. That's all documented in record. Who can look at all of the accusations in totality and feel like they're all unjustified, or feel like he is completely absolved from all of it and that he's not responsible of any version of it. And I know it'll take a lot of investigation to find out absolute truth and whether they're all true or not. But I don't know how you look at it in its totality and dismiss him as being innocent.
It's insane to me. It's insane and stomach churning. And the 13-year-old girl one, which reads plausible, right? And I don't know.
Totally. Yes.
What? Disgusting.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
And when they're all coming from different people, different angles, different eras, different timelines, different decades, and there's so much commonality and common denominator amongst all of them, it's too vast a conspiracy that they would all be in cahoots to take down a future president. You know what I mean? Like that we never knew would be president. Like this, there's way too much truth. You don't have to be a genius to connect the dots. You need a little bit of common sense and decency.
Shocking. Well, do you have a hero to take us out on a good note with?
You know what, I do. And I was thinking, in the world, with all the tragedies that are happening and corrupt governments and all of this, I was like, where is there in the world that you can feel good about your country, that you can feel a good quality of life? And you know what I found?
Switzerland.
Best country. No, close. Liechtenstein.
Liechtenstein. What did you read about I love that Liechtenstein is the hero of the week.
Liechtenstein is the hero of the week with one of the richest countries on earth. The GDP per capita is among the highest globally, extremely strong banking and financial services sector. They're also a serious industrial player, manufacturing, dental tech, tools. And so it's not just like a tax haven type situation. They're actually producing high value, goods, manufacturing. Obviously the location, stunning alpine location, very few places that are that beautiful on the planet. Safe and reliable, incredibly low crime, politically very stable. They don't even have a standing army. They abolished the army in the 1800s and they don't need it. Some years they have fewer prisoners than prison staff.
Amazing. So it's like a real one-to-one situation.
Yeah, it's incredible. Run really well and efficiently. Like the government is small and responsive. Strong education, strong vocational systems. They're strategic in their alliances. Like they use the Swiss franc, but they're entirely independent. They're not in the EU. So it just seems like an ideal place to live. People that live there report high levels of happiness.
I would imagine that Liechtenstein would be very impossible to relocate to due to, they don't want people, right? They can do all this because they have probably a great, wonderful, manageable population. But I have a plan for you, David Lee Scales, to get to Liechtenstein.
Let's hear it.
Go commit a major crime in Liechtenstein and get locked up with your personal jail guard. Sometimes you're two personal jail guards.
I once I get out, I'm not going to get to enjoy the benefits of the country if I'm in jail. But I'm wondering, once I get out, will they then kick me out of the country, or will I have some sort of extra access now because I've spent quality time here?
I'm going to wonder if jail in Liechtenstein is not better than your life currently.
Great question. Don't know.
I mean, if you have two personal guards sometimes, like at what point does prison guard and personal chef morph into each other? I mean,
With that few prisoners, the chef is kind of like your personal chef.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. So,
And I guarantee you the quality of food there is superior as well. You're probably eating
absolutely.
Swiss, yeah, like these cheeses from the cows in the Alps. Yeah, it's got to be amazing. All right,
Absolutely.
I'll figure out the crime and I'll go
Yeah.
try to do it. I'll try to actually get away with it. I'm thinking about robbing a bank there, actually, is where I think this is going.
Yeah.
So I will try to get away with it to then use that money to live the lifestyle I want to live here. And
Before
if I,
you get
yes.
arrested.
But plan B is then get arrested, stay there.
It will take a little bit of research because you're going to have to figure out a crime that they're going to want to keep you in jail in Liechtenstein and not deport you to serve your time here, because you don't want to be doing time here.
Okay, I'm not going to rely on AI for this one. I'm
No,
going to
definitely
actually
not.
do my own research.
Definitely not. Well, we're going to go out on Liechtenstein. I'm going to let Liechtenstein be my hero too for this week.
Let Liechtenstein linger.
Yeah, let it linger. Do you have to? Do you have to let it linger? Any other notes, ideas, thoughts?
That's all I got.
Okay, well, we'll see you all again on the Grit this week. I'll have a longboard update for you over there. My new love affair with longboarding, even though I haven't started it yet, but hopefully I will start it this week.
Can't wait to hear it.